All right, let's talk a little bit about basics of using kettlebells. For this, I'm going to be demonstrating with 10 pounds or 15 pounds, usually a pretty good starter weight for some of these skills. And then you can increase your weight as you improve your strength and endurance. And then there may be times where different sizes of weights are better for certain skills that you're doing, especially if you're getting into any like double swings or anything like that. Let's talk a little bit about grip and how we're going to use this. So first of all, we often have a pretty loose grip on the kettlebell. When I'm doing some of my more basic swings, I have my fingers hooked around, but my thumb is free. I'm not gripping around the kettlebell with my thumb. It's kind of floating on top. So you can see how my hand is gripping there. I'm not gripping all the way around. Then when we come up to what is considered a rest position within kettlebell use, we're up here. And so for this, I'm getting thumb towards my chest, fingers are up. They can be relaxed. They don't actually have to be straight up like that. But the kettlebell is resting on my forearm and kind of against my chest or biceps a little bit. So this is considered a rest position where you're going to hang out if you do need a little break. You're not actually setting down the kettlebell. So let's talk about warm up first of all. Some really important principles for using kettlebells is the idea of using momentum from your body movement and not just swinging with your arm. So for example, just standing here so you can see what this looks like. I don't want to stand with my body totally stationary and my arm doing all of this work. My arm is going to hang totally dead weight towards the floor, and because I'm shifting my body, my arm is going to start swinging. None of this is initiated by my shoulder at all. So the same concept goes into a warm-up position that we can use. So first, I'm just going to let my knees bend. This is going to come straight down in front of me, and I can let that arm just kind of dangle. I can do rotation out either direction and let things kind of stretch. And then I can start doing some gentle swings here just to figure out that momentum piece. So again, totally dead weight towards the floor, shifting my weight between my feet, right and left. That kettlebell is going to start swinging using momentum only and not from my arm doing the work. I can shift my weight going forwards and backwards. I can do this in circles, going either direction, all coming from momentum. I can do little lungy things with it. Really any movement that you can think of, as long as it's getting initiated by moving your body and not by just swinging the arm, is the important part. So what I would recommend is starting with maybe about 5-10 minutes, doing that on each side, going through those different movements, twisting the kettlebell, doing swings in different directions, including some circles, and just get things nice and warmed up. And then we're going to move into actual swings. The most basic version of a swing is going to be with a double grip. So both hands are going to be on this, an overhand grip. Thumbs are gentle on here. Again, I'm not gripping all the way around. I want to think squatting down into my hips and thrusting hips forward. So from the side, it's going to look like this, sitting back and then driving up and forward through the hip, because that drive is going to give some of that extra momentum for the actual swing. So double hand grip, this is just going to come down between the legs and up. And it's all coming from that drive forward to get the momentum. So then if that's feeling pretty easy and you want to start doing things where you're needing to engage core even more, we're going to switch to a single grip. So with this, as I go down, thumb is going to point down towards the ground and behind me. And as I come back up, my thumb is going to point up towards the ceiling. I like doing this now to get that movement pattern ingrained, because it's going to be important for some of the more advanced skills that you can eventually work into. So as I come down, thumb is down. As I drive forward, thumb is going to drive up. But we want to use that momentum piece again. So thumb down, thumb up, down, up. And you can see I'm getting this twist through the spine also to give me some extra range of motion. I'm not staying more square. I'm letting that twist happen. Another thing that's kind of happening is this other hand is throwing back with it to help drive some of that rotation. So this shoulder's opening up and this hand can come down and in between. So that is my single hand swing. So then I can work into coming up into this resting position. Swing is going to start the same, but once I get out to about halfway, I'm going to start thinking about twisting that hand, kind of making a little like lasso coming out and around, so that thumb is ending up at my chest and elbow is out to the side. So again, that swing on the way up, once I get to about here, halfway out, I'm going to start kind of driving it out and around and then thumb to chest. So to show you that with the kettlebell, it's hard to slow down, but if you really get that lasso effect, it's going to make this transition of the kettlebell flip a lot easier. So it doesn't feel like it just smacks you right in the wrist, which can get painful after a while. To add onto that note, if you wear anything on your wrist, especially a smartwatch, a Fitbit, anything like that, remove it when you're going to do these exercises. I have cracked more than one screen doing this without removing it, not thinking about it. So anything that either is breakable or just wouldn't feel comfortable getting smashed between you and the kettlebell, get it out of the way. But we can do this swing, same premise coming down, but we do the lasso out and around to come up to that resting position. So those are some of the basic swings and concepts when it comes to kettlebells. Eventually we can work into all kinds of crazy patterns and coordinations of things, but these are some of your foundational skills to get really good at, so that it makes all of those other things a lot easier when you get there. Reminder that everything is getting initiated from body movement, not shoulder motion. This should feel more like a cardio workout than a strength training workout because of that factor. We're using a lot of our bigger, more powerful muscles, not some of our smaller ones. So if you find that muscles are fatiguing really quickly, you're probably still using a lot of those more local muscles as opposed to driving through and using momentum for everything. So when in doubt, go back, try some of those initial swings and things that we did as part of the warm-up to just revisit what that feels like, to let the arm be nice dead weight and using your body to initiate the momentum.